Good afternoon. My name is Ava Eady, and I'm the Library Services Manager here for our Manatee County Libraries. Welcome. How many of you been to the Central Library since the renovation? Looks pretty great, doesn't it? A lot more open, and I really love the light that's come in. I wanted to take a couple minutes and just recognize some of the folks, some of our distinguished guests. Not that you're not all impressive and amazing, but I do want to just name a couple real quick. For instance, this gentleman right here, this Representative Jim Boyd, and we have our Commissioner, Betsy Benak, the Executive Director of the Tampa Bay Library Consortium, Charlie Parker, and we have two of our Deputy County Administrators here, Dan Schlant and Karen Winden. Johnette Isham from Realize Bradenton. And many, many glorious people from the press and community. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. As many of you know, last year we were fortunate enough to have the impressive and very prolific writer Stephen King come for an evening at Manatee Players. It was awesome, to say the very least. The Library Foundation was able to raise $100,000, and in a public-private partnership with the county, adding $150,000 to the pot, we have been able to purchase a new catalog system, and that has been terrific for us. We are grateful to all the sponsors, Mr. King, the Library Foundation, all the people who worked so hard to make that happen. We're in the process of migrating to that new system, and it's going to go live on October 1st. So you're right on top of it. It's going to happen very quickly for us. It's a great new tool, and there are many added features. It's a much simpler interface to use. It's very intuitive, and it's definitely a long-awaited improvement, so we're really excited about that. I did want to stop real quickly and say we have an additional special announcement to make, sort of in addition to our big announcements. Charlie Parker, could you come up for just a moment, please? Charlie is here from the Tampa Bay Library Consortium, and he's going to help me present a very special award today.
Thank you, Ava. I am honored to be here representing 122 libraries across Central Florida to honor Representative Jim Boyd. Each year, the Tampa Bay Library Consortium invites its members to nominate people that have made a difference, people that have done outstanding things for libraries. And when we look at the success of the program that Ava just described, wow, how could you do better? Representative Boyd, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But we have a challenge, and that is we're honoring the representative for the wonderful work that he did in building support for last year's event, and now he's doing it again this year. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Listen, I'm going to say something later, but I will just say this. It was not me or my wife Sandy. It was this incredible team, Ava and Jane and her team. That's what got it across the finish line. It was just a privilege for us to be part of it. But thank you for this award. It's very kind, and I really appreciate it.
The magic of Manatee County.
So we were very excited. When we had the opportunity to nominate Mr. Boyd as the library champion, we recognized that that was the kind of thing that this was the award that was made for it. The work he did for us as an honorary chair last year, when Jane Plitt, our foundation president, asked him to step up, he did so wholeheartedly. And then she told him what he ought to do, and he followed. So kudos to Jane for recruiting him, and also for all the work she did, as well as the work that Jim has done. It's been terrific. Some months ago, the Library Foundation Executive Committee challenged us to put together a more comprehensive project to support the literacy needs of our community. Literacy has always been at the core of what public libraries are about. Libraries have historically been great equalizers, making materials and services available to everyone in the community, a true people's university. Today we are excited to announce a new signature campaign entitled I Am a Lifelong Learner. This 2-year campaign will be managed by the library system and will focus upon improving local literacy opportunities by meeting 4 vital needs. Lifelong learning coordinator would be enlisted. We would target our youngest readers with I Am a Lifelong Learner campaign. We would address and continue to develop the work we do with the summer slide, and we would enrich parental engagement through purchasing additional resources. This 2-year library project is designed to complement other community literacy efforts to increase reading and STEM success. We'll be seeking support for this endeavor, humbly. It's really a pleasure for me to introduce our next speaker, Jane Plitt from the Library Foundation, the president. For those of you who don't know her, I got to tell you, she's a force of nature. For those who do, you'll agree, she's the most driven and one of the most creative people you'll meet. So, Jane, if you could. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We have big news today. I'm delighted to be here and first to celebrate the accomplishment that we set out to do, and that was upgrade the operating system for the library that they're now calling the new catalog system. And October 1st, it's going to happen because of a public-private partnership and enabled because, as we all remember, Mr. Stephen King became our man to which this community and actually the world came to hear last January. And this year, he came through for us again. He's fallen in love with the community, the Library Foundation, and particularly the exciting efforts that we are doing and that you've just heard are unfolding at the Library for Literacy. And he promised that he would recruit a star, almost as big or maybe bigger than he is. And we are here today to share that incredibly exciting news. And to help me are Representative Jim Boyd, part of the honorary chair team with his wife is also co-chair. And he is very humble. He is an extraordinary worker bee, and it has been a total delight for us to work together as a team. And Stephanie Goforth, who will be representing the presenting sponsor from Northern Trust. So I'd like to bring up both, and Jim.
Thank you very much, Jane, and Stephanie, glad to share this podium with you, and thank you for your ongoing sponsorship and all you do for the Library Foundation. It means a lot to all of us. First of all, I do want to again thank Jane and Ava, 2 incredible women who've been I've been so blessed, and Sandy, my wife, to work with. You know, in my job as a state representative, oftentimes you get praise and you get accolades for things that you really didn't do. But for some reason you get the praise, and that's what's happened to Sandy and myself. I mean, they did so much work. They got Stephen King here. They set it all up, and they asked us to be honorary chair folks, and how could you not do that in such an exciting time? So thank you for all you've done for the community and for the library. There's Ava, for the library. It means a lot to all of us. An Evening with Stephen King was one of the most incredible fundraisers I have ever been part of. I couldn't imagine being asked to be the honorary chair, but when I was, it was really quick to say yes to that. It was an elegant night that was truly filled with fun and laughter. I didn't know quite what to think when we first got Stephen King on the stage because we'd had the chance to meet him backstage, but what a delightful man and what an incredible guy. And he had, as Jane said earlier, he had so much fun here. As we're talking to him that night, we said, you know, Mr. King, I don't know how we could top tonight. I mean, we've kind of gone to the pinnacle of galas with you being here. And he says, I have an idea. And he says, I've got a good friend that just might be willing to come. You're going to hear about that good friend in just a few minutes. But I think he has taken it to the next level with a writer that's just as noted as he is. Our author that's going to be coming for 2016 has sold more than 275 million books since coming to prominence in the early 90s. He's best known for his fast-paced, fascinating legal thrillers. His first bestseller came in 1991, and I was just telling Stephanie earlier, a friend of mine gave me the paperback book that was dog-eared and everything and said, "You've got to read this book." And I read it, I don't know, in a day or two in the evenings just because it was so fascinating and it was so exciting. He also turned some of these books into Hollywood movies, including one blockbuster starring none other than Tom Cruise. Altogether, our author has published more than 28 novels and 3 nonfiction books, at least 11 of which have been made into other film adaptations. His latest creation, The Rogue Lawyer, hits the book stands on October 20th, so I know you'll join me in looking forward to that. So, if we haven't told you who it is already, you should know, but this is really, really big, and I'm happy to have my friends Stephanie and Jane help us unveil the 2016 author. John Grisham. Now this is off script, but I'll turn it over to Jane and just say,
it's John Grisham, but if you look, he is going to be in conversation with Stephen King. We get both of them.
And I would only say, Jane asked, very, very graciously asked Sandy and I to co-chair this again this year. I don't know what y'all are going to do next year, but I can't imagine us going higher. So we're out after this year. Not because of us, but you have hit a grand slam. So congratulations. It's going to be a really exciting night. Stephanie, up, please.
As Jim said, you know, how do you best that? It's going to be a very exciting time for us. Northern Trust, this is what we do. As we start our 126th year, we are just so thrilled to be a part of this. And this is what we are as a local person, local contact. We've got board members here. And so on behalf of Chris Romine and myself, we're thrilled to be back. I think the literacy program is something very near and dear to Northern Trust's heart as we support that thoroughly with many, many different events to educate our young. So, you know, we're thrilled to be back. I think it's going to be another great event, Jim, and so we look forward to it too. And we're not saying we're out for the next one, though, but I can't wait to see what that is. So thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jim.
Wow. Don't we have a great system here in Manatee County, everyone working together to make these wonderful announcements. I want to say thank you to Jane, to Ava, to Representative Boyd, and everybody involved who've helped make today's announcement a reality. You can see we have great partners with Northern Trust, people that are stepping up to help us in our system. When you consider that we hosted Stephen King in January, Evan Longoria in June, who was here for Evan Longoria? That was great. Had a huge crowd of kids that he was reading to. And now we'll be hosting John Grisham in January. It really caps off an incredible year for our library system, which I believe is second to none in the state. State College of Florida is graciously stepping up to host this year's event at no cost to the library system or foundation. The 2016 annual author event is titled Bookends, An Evening with Two Literary Giants, John Grisham with special guest Stephen King. The event will be held at 7 p.m. on January 17th at SCF's Neal Performing Arts Center. We're already expecting a sellout at a venue that hosts 832 people. That will top last year's event. Mr. King is a good friend of Mr. Grisham, and King will be interviewing Grisham on stage that night. I attended the event with Mr. King. He's an interesting guy, a very interesting guy. And I can only imagine how fun it will be to see him interact with a friend who's also a renowned author. Sponsorship packages are now available at www.manateelibraryfoundation.org. And then if there's still seating available on October 15th, tickets will be available to the public. for $150 apiece. So get together with your friends, sponsor, come forward. We need your help. In closing, I'd like to tell you that our County Commission truly appreciates public-private partnerships that help sustain public assets more than you can imagine. Obviously, the Library Foundation has done a great job, and you can see the results in what we're able to offer to our community, to our kids, the great program that Ava described. And so now I'm going to turn it back over to Ava to talk a little bit about this year's writing contest that will allow one lucky winner to attend the Bookends event in January. Okay.
For those of you who might remember last year, we did something called the Page Turner Contest, and that was in conjunction with the Stephen King evening. This time we changed it up a little bit. We have a new project we've been working on. It's called the 805 Literary Journal, and it is an opportunity for the community to submit their writing, their art, their creativity to it. So this is the group that got together and came up with the next contest. And what they came up with is called Flash Fiction. And this is an opportunity for one community member to win a ticket to the John Grisham and Stephen King event. So it's very, very exciting. It is an opportunity for someone to take a look at a photo, which will be posted at the 805 Lit site, and describe it in a story format, in a fiction format. So I'm going to unveil at this point for our January 19th event our next contest, which is called Flash Fiction. And this is the photo that folks will get a chance to work with. And I think it's kind of a fun way for people to engage and use their creativity. Again, something we're always excited about. I'd like to welcome back our foundation president, Jane Plitt. And
I'd like to answer any questions, but at the same time, I'd like to let you know how responsive the community has already been, because former sponsors have rallied. So if you would, Stephanie and Jim, just if you would help reveal our current sponsor board, and the opportunity awaits to join it. And we hope that you individually and any organization you're part of or a book club will rally around and help join us in this extraordinary event, January 19th. Are there any questions? Anyone has? Summer, did you guess it?
Yes, we were talking.
Yes.
When will you know whether public tickets are going to be on sale?
Probably October 14th. That if there are seats available, we will make it known to the media, and we will make it known by our website and the like. We obviously moved in hopes of trying to have public tickets available, but we're also trying to raise a whole lot of money. So it's a challenge. Any other questions? I also, if any of you are interested, there really was a winner last year to Page Turner, and he is here, Charles. He is available to interview. So it is a very exciting opportunity for whoever can win this new Flash Fiction contest. So thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. I'd also like to recognize that here there are many library board members, and we're all wearing our little badges, so please connect with them. They're all incredible workhorses, and we have an amazing team. Lastly, this team is Susan Wilcox is the event chair, and I'd like her to stand. because you'll be seeing, hearing from her. She is a whirlwind and just amazing and a total delight. So thank you, Susan. Thank you. We're about to announce an extraordinary occasion, and that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. This year, we'll have two literary blockbusters, John Grisham and Stephen King. This is made possible as a result of Mr. King's support of the Library Foundation and the Manatee County Public Library System and what we're doing. They are particularly interested in the effort linked to literacy. So our big thrust is raising a bundle of dollars so that we as a community can help reduce illiteracy, which is a huge crisis in our community. So it's wonderful. The community can participate. We have these extraordinary authors who are going to delight us, and we're on the national scene. It means that what we're doing is vital, and that even though they are international luminaries, their basic values are to care. And Mr. King particularly deeply cares about libraries and the ability of people to read and enjoy what a library resource has to offer. It's an equalizer. And our Library Foundation is so blessed to have that kind of support. Absolutely, and it's for our community. This October 1st, the new catalog system that we raised the $100,000 and partnered with the county is going to be implemented, and every person who uses the library is going to be able to delight in it. So we are thrilled, and we're thrilled to be able to report, we hope next year, on all the wonderful programs that are as a result of this fundraiser. In 1985, some concerned citizens in this county mobilized to create the Library Foundation in order to supplement the public dollars that were available for the library system. Our mission is to generate and support with supplemental dollars the library and its service to the community today, tomorrow, and forever. Absolutely. And the best part is that they're friends. So we're going to really be able to be viewing an amazing experience with these two sharing all kinds of information that probably we never knew. So I encourage everybody to come get a ticket at the Neal Performing Arts Center on January 19th.
We're really excited because today we're going to announce our next authors. And we've been very fortunate because the Library Foundation worked very hard to get us a very prolific and impressive author to follow up Stephen King, which is a really hard act to follow. So we're very, very thrilled. He's going to interview John Grisham. This was so fortunate. Apparently, when our foundation president approached Mr. King and said to him, will you come help us in the future? And he offered to use one of his chits with Mr. Grisham. And so Mr. Grisham got back to him and said, why don't you come up on stage and interview me as part of it. So we've really got these literary giants, and so they're calling it Bookends, an evening with two literary giants, and it's really exciting. We moved it from Manatee Players only because of size. The Players was a great place to have Mr. King because he was looking for a place that was very intimate. This event, though, we recognize that we have a lot of people who want to be part of it. And Mr. Grisham is less inclined to have concerns about the intimacy. He said he's just going to bring it. So we are going to move it over to the Neal Auditorium in the South State College of Florida, and it holds 832 people versus the few hundred that we had at Manatee Players. So it gives an opportunity for more people to attend and a greater sponsorship and an opportunity to raise greater funds for our literacy programs at the library. It definitely is. We, for many years, didn't feel as though we were able to do a lot of big projects, and yet we've had a significant number of our libraries renovated in the last few years, culminating with Central's renovation this year. And it was a huge renovation. We were able to go back, despite the fact that this building is from 1977, go back and really recognize that there were no ADA compliance rules at that point. So that was one of our very first things that we wanted to focus on. How could we make this building more accessible to everyone in our community? And then how could we encourage creativity? How could we provide a space for the teens that was just as important as the space we had for our children, and make it close to one another so there'd be a natural transition and a place where they could really be as creative and innovative and collaborative as they wanted to. We also wanted to continue to provide a space for our computer users, because there's a huge part of the population that comes here daily. For the people who can't afford internet access or their own computer, and in a time where almost every job application and social service application is only available online, we recognize that's an important role for us. We were also able to put in a business incubator, which is a place for our small businesses to have a conference room where they could meet and they could have that opportunity to grow in a small business sense, or they could meet with SCORE, work on a marketing plan. They could provide a program or even a space where their folks could work on their technology skills to come up in their level of their current work. I think probably the most important thing for me is that we have recognized in our public library that it's our mission to help all the different individuals and organizations in our community be successful with their mission. So whatever form that takes, we take a lot of input from our community, whether it be via survey or comments or just engaging people in conversation on a regular basis or giving them a place to post their information on Facebook, those kind of things. We recognize that those needs keep changing, and we need to be flexible enough to move and groove kind of as needed to make that happen for our people, because maybe today it's technology support because people need to learn how to use technology, and tomorrow it might be something completely different. And as long as we can maintain that flexibility, as long as our staff continues as professional librarians with ALA accredited master's degrees, as long as they continue to find ways to add value to the research that's being done, to the literacy programs that are being offered, the hiring fairs that we encourage. We help people build resumes and apply for jobs. That's a huge aspect of what's needed in our community at this point, as so many people are struggling with those areas. I think we continue to evolve in libraries. We're no longer simply books on a shelf, and as long as we keep that flexibility and that awareness that we need to keep responding to whatever that might take, I think we're going to be good, and I think this is fun. And so something like this event in January that is so huge, that brings awareness of the community to who we are and how we've changed, is one of the things I'm really excited about, because the more that people come in that haven't been to our libraries in years, the more they recognize all the great things that are happening, the resources, the services, the programs, the meeting spaces, all those terrific things that make us a public library in Manatee County. You can go to our library website, you can go to our Facebook site, or to the Library Foundation's Facebook site. You've got a couple of venues at this point. You can stop into any of our libraries by all means, or give us a call. Feel free to use any of those, but get in touch with us and find out how exciting this is going to be come January.
Well, to have two authors of this caliber come to Manatee County is just so exciting and so impressive, and I think speaks very highly of our community and particularly of our library. That was important because we sold out the event in 3 weeks last year because we could only accommodate roughly 350 people. This year we can accommodate 832, and we know that the demand is going to be there. In addition, Neal Auditorium is a really beautiful facility as well. While it's a little larger, it still has a real feel of intimacy, and there are no bad seats in it. Well, we are so pleased to have Northern Trust return as our presenting sponsor. They were very supportive last year, and we already have a great relationship with them for this year. We currently, before we announce it to the public, have $76,000 raised in sponsorships, and which is so exciting. And we know that we'll be having more coming in after the public announcement. We think it's very significant that he agreed to come back. That's sort of unusual for him, apparently, to agree to do something again, and for him to get his good buddy, John Grisham, to come. Both gentlemen are donating their time for the library, and it's because they believe in our library, in libraries in general, but particularly the Manatee County Library. The money raised is going to go toward literacy programs of the Manatee County Library system, and that's such a critical need in our community right now. Well, obviously the money raised is for a great cause. We just cannot do enough in our community for literacy. But even more importantly, it's going to just be a whole lot of fun. We are sure of that.
Last year was a very special year, of course, because of Stephen King, but this year I think the target being literacy and some of the stats with regards to Manatee County are really kind of scary. And so I think that was really the main reason we stepped up again, and because what Northern does is really emphasis on the local markets, and this is important to us. So it's going to be a great event, another great event. And with the monies going to the Literacy Center here at the library, it's going to be even better. Well, as you can imagine, we're always looking for special things to do with our clients and with our partners. And this, having the two of them together is going to be just one of those things you don't get ever, anytime. And so the ability to have them in the same room, to meet them, is just very, very special. So. Well, I think, we had a lot of kids there last year, and we had a lot of people that wanted to come that because of the sold-out event, they just weren't able to. And I think this enables people to understand kind of what the authors are talking about, and it encourages reading. And so the more people we can get in the room, what they say, butts in the seats. So as most as we can get into the room at the time is the best. I tell you, our partners have come to me and to our sponsorship group and said, we're involved with the library. We have a number of partners that have been on this board and a number that volunteer here, so it's important to them. And when it's important to our partners, it's important to Northern Trust. And of course, the community involvement here has been just phenomenal.
Well, it's important because it's supporting our local library system. So many good things come out of this library. So many people use it across the community. So today's a big day. Last year at this time was a big day. I think today is just as big, so I'm really excited to be here. Well, our library just means so many things to so many people on so many different levels. So our support, as little as it is from our perspective, just goes to show, I hope, that how important this library is to our community, how much good it does for all of us that are residents of this community. So we're thrilled to be part of this. Well, I was honored. I don't know that I deserved it, but quite honored to receive the award. I mean, libraries, I remember my old library card when I was a kid and how important that was to me, and I enjoyed reading then, I enjoyed reading now. So to be a small part of the progress here at our library makes me very happy. And again, I'm not so sure I deserve that award, but I'm honored to have received it. Well, the excitement of who's coming with Mr. King, I think we'll hear in a few minutes, is just going to be huge for our community. It supports the library. Hopefully it'll bring in more dollars that we can use for good purposes in the library and the services of the library. So today's a really exciting day and one that I'm thrilled to be part of.